Soft sunlight filters over the towers of London, casting long shadows on cobbled streets. In one modest home, a young man sits hunched over a faded page, candlelight flickering in the dusk. His name is Thomas More, and his world is a tapestry woven from questions, books, and the restless search for what is right. Born in 1478, Thomas grew up in a city brimming with trade and talk, ideas and ambitions. He learned Latin, pored over the works of ancient philosophers, and listened while debates filled the air at his father's dinner table. In these early years, Thomas discovered a love not just for knowledge, but for wisdom, the deeper kind that binds together heart and mind. He trained as a lawyer, mastering the art of argument and reason. Soon his keen mind earned him a reputation across England. But the courtroom, the law, and even public life were not enough. Inside, Thomas grew a dream. Could the world be better than it was? Not just for a few, but for all. Seeking to answer these questions, in 1516, he sat down at his desk and began to write. The result was Utopia, a slender book but a mighty vision. He described a fictional island, far from the strife and greed of Europe. On Utopia, families shared their homes. Neighbors treated one another as kin. Work was short, so leisure was long. There were no beggars, for everyone cared for those in need. Faith, too, was free. No one was punished for what they believed. Utopia wasn't a real place, but it pressed readers to reflect. If such a land could be imagined, why not built? Could justice, harmony, and dignity be more than dreams? More's bold words echoed far beyond his study into the hearts of thinkers and reformers for centuries to come. But the world around Thomas More was not a utopia. He rose high in public life, entering the royal court as a friend and advisor to King Henry VIII. Witty, honest, and respected, More became Lord Chancellor, the king's right hand in matters of law and governance. Some might have called this the height of achievement, the reward for virtue and intelligence. Then history turned. King Henry, desperate for a son and a new wife, broke with the Catholic Church. He demanded that his subjects, More included, swear allegiance to his new order above all else. It would have been easy to bend, to nod, to say the necessary words and keep his place. But Thomas More could not yield. His conscience, the compass that had guided his life, simply would not allow it. To him, the soul's integrity mattered more than success. He believed and held fast to the belief that loyalty to truth and to God was worth any cost. His refusal was quiet, dignified. He did not rail or dwell in bitterness. Instead, he withdrew from court, praying, hoping for peace. But the king would accept no opposition. Thomas was arrested, imprisoned in the grey stone walls of the Tower of London. Through long months of isolation, he was offered chance after chance to recant, to sign the oath, to save himself. Still, he stayed silent, steadfast. At his trial, faced by judges and former friends, he stood tall. In his final defense, More maintained his loyalty to king and country, but made clear that conscience was not for sale. On a July morning in 1535, Thomas More was sentenced to death. On the scaffold, he spoke calmly to the gathered crowd.
"I die the king's good servant, but God's first."
With those words, he passed from this world, a martyr to principle. But death was not the end. In centuries to come, More's vision and courage blazed ever brighter. He was declared a saint. And his Utopia inspired dreamers, reformers, and rebels alike, reminding all that justice and hope begin with imagination. Books bear his name, statues stand in quiet alcoves, students around the world read his words. He remains a symbol of conscience over conformity, of courage over comfort. Thomas More's life asks us to reflect, what kind of world might we build if we hold true to our values? What strength lies in speaking for what's right, even when the cost is high. In the end, his example is as relevant today as ever. Stand by your beliefs, speak for what is just, and never stop dreaming of a better world.